With the football season coming to an end, the manager roulette begins, with some managers getting sacked by their clubs and some managers waiting for a new job. And today, we're going to decide who your club should sign as their new manager next season. Boys, let's get to it.
And Millie, some jobs are not officially open yet. What do we do with those?
Varvar, if the manager is on the hot seat, we're going to decide if that manager should stay or if there should be a replacement. I think we're ready to go.
All of my concerns have been answered, Millie. Who's the first team?
Boys, the first team that we will assign a new manager to is Liverpool. With Klopp leaving at the end of the season, there's some big shoes to fill.
This is one club that needs to replace their coach. Liverpool has been going up these years.
Look,
to lose a coach like Klopp is going to be a downgrade.
this is going to be one of the toughest jobs a manager can take, in my opinion, this summer.
You got a lot of pressure, yeah.
The expectations next year are still, you need to be challenging on basically every single competition you're in.
Against Man City especially.
Yeah,
Arsenal.
and look, they've been heavily linked to a manager called Arne Slot. I don't know if you guys know him.
Feyenoord.
Manager at Feyenoord. So we're going to pick who we would pick, not who's actually going to happen, because who's actually going to happen is probably him. But for me, I would personally say a manager, I don't think it's realistic, but a manager like Tuchel would be perfect for Liverpool, in my personal opinion.
But do you think Tuchel has... Do you think Tuchel is ambitious enough to go to Liverpool?
I think so, yeah.
Well, he was ambitious enough for Chelsea, ambitious enough for Bayern. I don't see why Liverpool wouldn't
PSG?
PSG too. Let's not forget that. A little CL final run there.
Yeah.
And listen, Liverpool, it's their MO. They're bringing in another German coach. It'll fit. I think that's a really solid fit, Varvar.
For me, someone that's achievable would be like, okay, this is a hipster shout, but Thomas Frank from Brentford. I feel like he has some good tactics. He's not a manager who's going to demand too much with in respect to budgeting and all that stuff, but he's a manager who can make things work.
But is it enough? Like, does he have the stature to like get that respect from the players? Because these players are going to see, well, our manager is coming from Brentford. It's not like a Zidane where they're coming from teams like Real Madrid, or Tuchel coming from those top clubs.
He turned Brentford into a solid mid-table club when before him, they were kind of in, I'm not going to say in turmoil, but they were not guaranteed safety every single year. Now I see Brentford as, oh, okay, they're not fighting relegation. And he developed a bunch of young players along the way while not being given the biggest budget ever in the Prem.
Yeah, and especially with the uncertainties of the Liverpool job after, like in terms of which players are going to be coming, going. I find someone like Thomas Frank is just a middle ground to really, okay, let's stabilize the ship. Klopp is leaving. We need someone to like keep stuff together, keep the team together, and the team is full of professionals. Like someone like Van Dijk will respond to someone like Thomas Frank.
You would hope that they're professional about it. You just don't know like how the personalities are going to mesh. But I think for me personally, Roberto De Zerbi fits very well with this Liverpool side, because it's in that time of transition. De Zerbi is a young coach, has the passion, has the drive to bring Liverpool to the stature that they were with Klopp at a certain point. So I think for where Liverpool is with their club project, De Zerbi is the right man for it.
My issue with De Zerbi is me and Firms went on two different ends of the spectrum. I went on experienced but expensive. Firms went on cheap but has shown a bit of promise and is inexperienced. You went for expensive and inexperienced. Why I think Firms' shout is better, the Thomas Frank shout is better, is that let's say you're 1 year down the line, you don't have the season you want to with Thomas Frank, and you're battling for top four. You could easily just sack him and go for Xabi Alonso next year when he actually probably wants to leave Bayer Leverkusen.
So you would see Thomas Frank as a buffer manager, like an interim manager, let's say, so Liverpool have the time to find their long-term manager.
If it works,
I think so.
no, but Thomas, if it works, great. You can keep him long-term. But if not, hey, look, we have Xabi Alonso next year.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless he goes to Real Madrid.
But De Zerbi is the new wave, the new generation.
We don't know that.
He's shown it at Brighton when he has the players.
He has had struggles, Millie.
He's had struggles, but people like McAllister, he's familiar with some of these players. I think he could work along with new faces like Shojlabai, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Like, he's a manager who could really bring some people together and make the best out of them.
I think he's a good manager. I just think that if you're going to go for expensive, which it would take you like 15, 20 million to get De Zerbi just out of Brighton, forget the wages,
Then
I would rather go for a Tuchel.
Those are our picks for the Liverpool job. And make sure to comment down below who you would pick for these jobs. Up next, we have Barcelona. But the news came out that Xavi is staying at Barcelona. So boys, we're going to decide here. If Xavi left the club as he said he was, who are we going to use to replace?
I'm not necessarily... I think Xavi staying is a good thing for Barcelona, personally.
Oh, he's switched up.
So you think it's good?
I just don't think they could get anyone better.
Okay, but I think Xavi is actually the perfect coach for Barcelona.
Okay, I wouldn't say perfect.
Well, you're not gonna get a Tuchel. You're not gonna, even though Tuchel is not really fit for Barcelona, you're not gonna get a Zidane.
Okay, but I think De Zerbi is better than him. I think he's a better fit for Barcelona too.
You can't say that because Xavi has proven himself. De Zerbi has not.
Xavi's a bit of a... I don't want to say it, but Xavi's a bit of a haram ball merchant. Like, he does not play. The common fallacy is that because he got coached by Pep Barcelona, he kind of plays like Pep's Barcelona. My brother,
But he does.
all these 1-0 wins, he's haram ball, bro.
That's because he's not really supported by the club. The club is not able to dish out money.
They lost a bit of steam.
They did.
Especially in the second half of the season where those 1-0 wins weren't coming. Like, they were fighting and scrapping for those wins. So Xavi ball is not this fluid style of football that Pep had when he was at Barca. This is something completely different in my opinion.
If I were Barca, I would look. Xavi staying is not bad. So you secured a good option. I would go for Michel from Girona and just go full young Spanish attacking manager who knows what he's doing. He challenged for the title with Girona this year. Do you know how crazy that is?
The thing is that you saw the shortcomings of his managerial experience.
But that's because his squad was not there to keep up with the title race.
Boys, this might come as a shocker, but the former Liverpool coach might make his move to Barcelona in my books. I think Klopp should coach Barca.
Won't happen this year.
It won't happen this year, but if Xavi were to leave, I would pick Jurgen Klopp to coach that Barcelona side.
I see that happening. It definitely won't happen this summer.
No.
Xavi obviously staying. But next year it's going to be interesting when Klopp gets on the market, because that's like a manager that's in a whole different tier to all these guys we're discussing today.
He is completely on a different tier.
I agree.
This is the manager right now with the most success, so to say, with his tactics, with his players, with his team overall, and how he's built the team. Like, really, he's a really good option for a long-term project.
Like, does he have experience with growing young players?
Yes.
Like Lamine Yamal. Like, has he had some diamonds in the rust?
I mean, I'm not necessarily going to go Coutinho at Liverpool. I mean, there's also other cases like Harvey Elliott right now turned into a really good player.
Yeah, but you're talking about La Masia. Like, it's a big responsibility on these managers. I think Xavi is the perfect guy to lead these La Masia kids.
You can go back to Dortmund. I mean, he brought up players like Götze.
And that was one of the most famous Dortmund sides in recent memory.
I would say the most famous.
The one that everyone knows.
If Barcelona were to pick the perfect manager, and it's a bit unrealistic, but I think I see it in the future. I think it would be Arteta.
I see it too.
I think he's grooming himself up to be that manager because listen, Arsenal, they're not a small club. I mean, listen.
To me, they're a little boy, but
to Barcelona,
maybe to Inter, they're a decent.
Inter, they're a little boy. Milan, they're a little boy.
Hey, leave Milan out of this.
But what I'm saying.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. Only 1 star. Sorry.
Exactly. But what I'm saying here is that Arteta is building up the CV so that if that Barcelona job comes calling, I think he could be on that list.
And listen, he's a La Masia graduate himself.
It's not that he's on that list. I think if he were free to go, Barcelona would say, ciao Xavi, and go back to Qatar and enjoy your days. But Arteta's number 1 on our list. I mean, Barcelona, there's not many better options than you could get than Arteta.
Arteta is the tier of Klopp in that sense.
No.
Arteta's been... Look, I don't like Arsenal, but he's been proving
in a tier of himself right now. And then it's Klopp, Ancelotti, and then it's the other guys.
But I want to ask you guys, is there another Spanish manager that could be like arm's reach away for Barcelona that is just as good. That's
Honestly, if they went away from the Spanish thing, I mean, Simone Inzaghi's not a crazy shout.
Yeah, like an Italian manager. There's a lot of Italian managers on the market, and Simone Inzaghi would low-key
that's
work.
a discussion for another day, boys, because we know Italy right now. They're cooking up some managers right now.
The probably best managers in the world are in Italy, and I don't think that's crazy.
Or Italian, at least.
Spain.
Or Italian, that's
Spain.
what I meant. No.
Spain. What, Luis Enrique?
Pep, Luis Enrique.
Oh, Luis Enrique, Pep, Arteta. I mean, that's already 3 that might be better.
Okay, Ancelotti, Simone Inzaghi.
It's close.
And
it's close.
I won't say
better.
Allegri, but like Allegri's up there.
No.
Such a shame.
You have Conte, though.
Even with Xavi staying on board at Barcelona, there's always a discussion to be had about that managerial spot. But up next, Varvar, you better get ready, hermano. It is Manchester United. Ten Hag is on the hot seat. Do you keep him or do you find a replacement?
Let's get comfortable for this.
Now, I've not officially said my stance on Ten Hag yet on this.
I think Varvar, this is the time to make your stance known.
I am officially Ten Hag out.
Oh, he switched sides.
He said it.
Because
That's crazy.
The brother has lost control of the club.
You think?
It has to be said. It has to be
Is
said.
it his fault though?
It's not his fault, but it's what happened, and you can't just say, oh, we'll give him another chance when obviously there's a couple players in that dressing room that just don't listen to him anymore. And the players who do are kind of useless. So, like, having like Scott McTominay and Anthony on your side really does nothing for me. When you see a manager like Zidane out there and you're there with Ten Hag. Okay, you still respect Ten Hag. I still think Ten Hag could move on and do great things in football, just not at Manchester United in the current state. So, if you want to play possession football, which our new owners seem to want, you need to go get a player, a manager more from the Spanish school of thought.
Facts.
So, I'm saying Zidane. That would be my choice, and that's who I would go for.
That's crazy because I think personally, I wouldn't look for a new manager just yet. I honestly would give Ten Hag maximum one more summer that he could pick the players that he wants for his team. New owners say, okay, this is what we're giving you. They set the parameters. If you can't get it done in a year, pack your bags, buddy.
The issue is that there's pros and cons, and the cons really outweigh the pros for Ten Hag staying. Like, I agree. I think he could potentially turn it around. But if you start off the season next season terribly,
then it's down.
Then you just wasted the summer.
You replace the manager, it gives like a whole new vibe to the club. It makes you like happy to get up in the morning. If you keep Ten Hag and then you start off the season bad next season,
it ruins the whole vibe.
The whole season is gone because after a month, you wanted to keep Ten Hag.
And also, you got the manager, like the management is new. So they want to show a little bit of progress, improvement. If Ten Hag happens to fail again in that summer, the management gets a lot of questions again.
There's players that came from the old regime of United and probably saw Ten Hag coming in and thought, okay, this is the breath of fresh air. And it just went completely sideways. But I really do think this could be salvageable. If this is managed well, especially in the summer, you get rid of that dead weight, you bring in fresh blood, that's the fresh air that you want.
It's salvageable, but from a new owner's point of view, they gain nothing from giving him time.
So you're saying they'd rather cut their losses?
They'll just say, because they get a blank slate. New owners, fresh slate. They don't need to worry about anyone criticizing really any other decisions for the first, let's say, like year, like Chelsea, even though they were spending 100 million on Ukrainian war refugees.
Oh my God. Let's not get into that.
But anyways, I think they gain nothing from giving him time. They weren't his selection for manager. Like,
so who would you replace him with?
Zidane.
I said Zidane.
You said Zidane? I think Tuchel is I'm going to use my Tuchel card here.
I was going to use my Tuchel card on this one also.
I'm not against Tuchel.
I think it works out. It's just my problem with Tuchel. I've said this in the podcast that you guys should check out. It's linked
down below
probably now. And I just find he's a drama queen, and it happens to be at one of the biggest clubs in the world, and that doesn't work well sometimes.
And United, listen, United is probably the biggest club in media-wise, where whatever you say will be under a microscope every single time. But I think Tuchel's able to manage that. But PSG, Chelsea, Bayern, he's able to manage that.
And look at each stop along the way, okay? PSG, CL final with PSG. furthest they've ever made it in a CL.
And
Thomas
it
Tuchel.
was very memorable.
Chelsea took a team that was like mid-table with Frank. Actually, no, they weren't mid-table. I think they were 4th or 5th place,
around-
whatever.
around
But they
there.
were trash with
Well,
Thomas. With
the Champions League, they were
Lampard,
doing horrible too.
Yeah, and then won the competition and
Out of nowhere.
in a dominant fashion too.
Facts.
And then Bayern, we have yet to see, but they made a Champions League semi-final beating Arsenal, which is nothing to like. It's
To
laugh at,
discredit,
you know?
yeah.
And they're about to play Real Madrid in the semi. So if they lose, understandable. You played Real Madrid, it's understandable.
But if they
every
win-
single time he's gone to a club, they've done really well.
Yeah.
So I'm not against Tuchel.
And they've had the media against him every time, and he's overcome that every time. So he's a perfect fit.
So with United, we have Zidane as an option. We have Tuchel as an option. But right now, it looks like Ten Hag will be staying. Up next, though, we're going to Italy. Firms, get your super suit on. We are looking at AC Milan. Pioli is going to be out this summer. That means the job is open. Who will be taking the seat?
It's a breath of fresh air, but I'm afraid. The times are too uncertain. I think the foundations are good, but Pioli is leaving a lot of complications.
The
let's just say.
issue with your club is, do you guys have that pull still?
That's
I
to
think
be
they
tested.
do.
I think
At
we
the
do.
end of the day, it's still Milan.
The pull,
it's
the
a
pull
promising
for
project.
what kind of manager? Like the top tier of manager, they don't got that pull no more.
No, I think stature-wise, we have the pull to do that. But money-wise, I want to see if our management is ready to dish out the money for someone like, I'm not going to say Zidane, but like Klopp. I think Klopp would be a perfect fit for Milan.
I don't think Klopp would join you.
He loves the club. We've seen the videos of him shaking hands with Maldini.
Even playing at the San Siro, like
Yeah, but your club don't like Maldini no more.
That's cap. He's
that's
still a legend.
higher up.
They
That's
showed
like
him the
Jerry
door.
Cardinale.
Showed him the door.
He should low-key come back.
That's Jerry Cardinale that doesn't like Milan.
Anyways,
doesn't like
yeah,
Maldini.
Jerry Cardinale, he's been doing a good job in my opinion. And I just think someone like Klopp, if they're ready to dish out that money that he deserves, he's the guy to bring Milan forward.
Firms, I want to bring this out because this was on my list for Milan. Allegri leaves Juve.
I couldn't.
Do you bring the Don back? Because he's the one that brought the Scudetto to Milan in 2011.
Millie, that was 10 years ago. Barbara, why are you looking at me?
I understand.
It was 10 years ago,
but
guys.
he does have the stature.
I'm picking an Italian manager for you too.
I think Barbara's picking another Italian man.
Yeah, I'm taking Conte.
Antonio Conte to AC Milan. Here we go.
He's completing every single his collection of Italian clubs.
He's
He
got
did
the
Inter,
gauntlet.
Juventus. He's gonna do Milan, and then after that, he's gonna do Napoli.
Yeah.
Can Milan even afford the brother?
The brother is affordable. This broke boy allegation.
You are broke.
We are not broke.
You guys are linked to
Fair
Paraguayan
change.
managers with 24% win percentages and Mark Van Bommel.
You don't think that's just speculation and stuff to make Milan fans mad?
Brother, Mark Van Bommel.
We're talking about the perfect fit here. Klopp would fit Milan to a T.
And then you woke up from your dream, and then you got a Paraguayan manager with 24% win
Listen,
percentage.
if it's not Klopp, I don't think they're gonna downgrade to somebody worse than Pioli.
Do you think Milan's objective here should be to get points on the board, like points and win, or play beautiful football?
Both. It's always been about both. But I think,
and then he lives in La La Land,
which is La La
In a
Land.
fantasy land.
where you
Brother,
play nice football and you win, because at Milan that's not possible.
There's many managers that do that nowadays. There's so many jobs available. Right now, we have a competition with our rivals. We're being left behind.
I don't know what rival you're talking about. bro.
we have been
Six
left
in a row.
Oh my brother.
6 in a row, brother.
Oh, brother.
The brothers cannot beat Inter. I'm sorry. But, Firms, I think this is a good fit for you. I did mention Allegri before, but I think that's a little too drastic. Like, that's like Milan fans would hate Allegri.
I would hate that.
But I do think there's another Italian in Maurizio Sarri
Not bad.
that could be an option for Milan. I would personally go for him.
That's not bad.
He brought
manager.
he brought Lazio to a level that they're not used to at all.
Underrated career.
Underrated. We might have to ask some of our Lazio friends about.
Well, forget
about
that.
Sarri, what they think.
Look at
I'm a
Napoli.
Laziale.
Look
You're
at
a
Napoli
Laziale.
back in the day. Second place, back to back.
It
It
was a while ago, but
was a while ago, but he
still got it.
He's mid.
went to
don't think
Chelsea.
he's
You probably remember his
Pioli
Chelsea
and
stint.
Sarri mid. Like it's like you're
No. Sadi has a way higher stature.
What is it? A paper. You step back and it changes everything.
Yeah,
Toothpick.
Toothpick changes everything. That would literally be like going from Pioli to Sarri.
I disagree.
I disagree way more because Sadi, Scudetto winner.
Yeah.
At Juve. And he managed some egos. That's Ronaldo.
And then he got shipped the next season. Okay, go.
Brother went to Chelsea, won a Europa League, and he had to deal with a goalkeeper that didn't even want to get off the field. My guy went out during
and then he got shipped to Juve.
No!
He should have stayed at Chelsea. That's all I'm saying.
He should have either stayed at Chelsea, but I think Lazio was a very good move
Perfect
for him.
fit.
Take the next step up. You go to Milan. I think that is a solid option for them.
I wouldn't mind
my
that.
opinion.
I would mind it.
Up next, we're taking a trip over to Germany. It is FC Bayern. With Tuchel saying that he's leaving at the end of the season, there is a vacant spot for the German Giants.
Bayern is in a dire situation.
You think?
They're in danger of becoming
Milan. And Juve.
A non-top tier club.
Yeah. Because right now, they're still fine, but we see a little bit of crumbling. This is not the Bayern we used to know. So I want the manager who comes in, sets his ideas straight, and his name is Antonio Conte.
Oh,
I think nationality-wise, he wouldn't really work.
My goodness.
No, that's
But
not
he
working,
speaks English.
Bro. That ain't working, bro.
He works perfectly.
Well, man,
This is a guy with ideas.
3-5-2 system. Like, the thing about Conte is that the brother will not play a 4-2-3-1. He will not play a 4-4-2.
Doesn't need
This
to.
man is coming straight in and saying, if you don't fit a 3-5-2, ciao.
You're gonna need a manager that is more than a manager, in my personal opinion, and
why is
more of
Conte
like a sporting director / manager in the new setup of Bayern. So yeah, he's gonna need to be involved in those transfer decisions, and I think Rangnick is actually a good appointment by Bayern.
No.
Rangnick is so overrated.
Did you not learn your lesson at United? That you cannot bring in a sporting director to be your
Because
coach.
we gave him the job of just being the coach. That was a mistake. He needs to be more than the coach.
The brother gets too much power at these clubs. He has done nothing except manage Leipzig. He's been unemployed.
Hoffenheim, he went from Hoffenheim 4th division up to, he took Hoffenheim from like, Hoffenheim's like a city with like 10,000 people in it.
Do you understand the difference between Hoffenheim and Bayern Munich? Bayern Munich, you can't have one man manage the entire club.
No.
It just doesn't work with these clubs.
It really doesn't at all. And now you have players that are $80 million, $90 million investments. You're not just going to throw Rangnick in there and say, yeah, revolutionize.
Figure it out.
Figure it out.
I'm sure he has a team, but you really want all of your decision making on one guy. To me, Conte, you just come in, he plays his football, which always works somehow. He's going to win the league.
I think for Bayern Munich, they want to keep that stature where they're with the Real Madrids, they're with the Barcelonas. You bring in Real Madrid's former coach, Zinedine Zidane.
It's impossible to keep up the stature of a Real Madrid of Barcelona for Bayern. I think in their current status.
Well, right now their current status, they
already aren't.
They're
in that tier.
semifinals in the Champions League.
If a player's getting a call from Bayern Munich, they're probably getting a call from Liverpool, Man United, Man City, Real Madrid, Barcelona, the actual top level clubs. Even Chelsea, I would honestly maybe think of going to in front of Bayern Munich.
You're telling me a player gets a call from Chelsea and Bayern Munich and he's responding to Chelsea right away?
I respond to Chelsea before.
For the bag, not for the football.
Yeah, for the atmosphere, for the club culture, the
I don't know, maybe it's just me personally, but have you ever heard someone say, I dream of playing for Bayern Munich?
I'm sure there's people that grew up now.
I'm sure there's people out there that are like fans of Anthony, bro. It's like there's people out there for everything.
But it's not their fault. Like if they want, if that's their dream to play for Bayern, then that's their dream. But Zidane, I think this is honestly, it's the perfect league because it'll be very difficult for Bayer Leverkusen to repeat what they did next season. And Zidane's going into a league where your only competition is 2 or 3 teams. The same as La Liga at the time when he was coaching Real Madrid. It was Barca and Atletico. It's the same environment, just in Germany. So I think this is the perfect time for Zidane to come in and revolutionize a team that does need a breath of fresh air.
Zidane's mine. Hands off, Bayern fans.
The brother has...
I got my hand on his cranium already.
Red Devil
Hands
stand
off.
up.
Huh?
Red Devil stand up.
Red Devil stand up and put your hands on Zidane's big bald head.
Oh my God.
Looks like we made our picks for the Bayern job. Now, this one is definitely going to be vacant in the summer. It is the mighty Juve. Boys, who is taking that wonderful manager job?
The brother's shooting shots to nobody.
Get up! Get up!
Ra-ta-ta-ta.
Kaboom!
This is Thiago Motta.
I think it's a unanimous Thiago Motta
We
here.
did discuss this on the pod, so I think our consensus was Thiago Motta is the perfect fit for a new Juve.
What a manager, by the way. Quel manager.
You're on a Thiago Motta train.
Okay,
I'm on a Thiago Motta train.
I think you're on the Thiago Motta train a little too early,
No.
in my opinion.
No. He's got it. Thiago Motta is very Inzaghi style.
Like, here's the thing.
He's a kind of a let him ball merchant.
That's the thing. So you put him on a Juve where
They have
he
no
has-
ballers.
Where they have no ballers.
They have some low-key ballers.
Who?
We gotta be honest. We talked about it on the pod. Yildiz. The guy's a baller. What are you talking about?
is.
Everybody could realize that.
And then they're gonna have
baller.
Sule coming back next season. Like that's a young gem that you're gonna probably want to bring up. Into the starting 11. And Thiago Motta is gonna give those opportunities now. Allegri's not gonna stick with Allegri stuck with the same formation, the same players every match day. It was repetitive and it was boring. There was no
gotten
progress.
stale.
There was no progress. So now Thiago Motta comes in. I think he's gonna revolutionize, but it's gonna be tough to contend while adjusting at the same time.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna drop points.
Well, ultimately, Juventus is going to take a little step back next year. I think they won't be challenging as much as the other years, I guess.
Let's say
which
like
was a while ago.
They'll probably still be top 4, but they're closer to 4 than they are to 2. You know,
Exactly.
3.
So I think it's an adjustment period. I think Thiago Motta is perfect. Works with the new generation.
I think if Thiago Motta comes in, Vlahovic gets sent to Uzbekistan.
I agree.
Personally.
Well, that's a huge...
Because the striker that Thiago Motta plays with right now is nothing like Vlahovic, so it's Xerxes.
So you think Thiago Motta is taking that Xerxes, putting it over his shoulder?
No, I'm not saying that.
And going
You could
straight to
find
Juve.
someone. You could find someone like Xerxes
Why not just get Xerxes?
because.
He's coming to Milan.
Oh yeah, for sure. Stay in your lane, bro. Buy
for
these
it.
19-year-old South Americans.
Wait for it. We'll be there.
Xerxes could just end up going to like an Arsenal or something like that, which is more attractive than a Juve.
I hope not.
With Thiago Motta, I do see an exciting project at Juve, so we're just going to have to wait and see how it goes. But up next, we do have one more team, and it is Pochettino's Chelsea Blues. Unfortunately, it is not the season that he would have liked to have had because, man, they're dropping some absolute stinkers in the Prem. And at the end of the day, it's a hot seat. Those owners aren't going to want a manager that doesn't know how to manage a locker room. So, boys, do you keep Pochettino or do you find a replacement?
I would keep Poch.
You're a Poch in.
I'm Poch in because everyone always speaks about Poch's training regimen. They say it's insanely difficult, how his fitness levels have to be so high, and you could see it during the season. At the beginning of the season, Chelsea were actually playing good.
They were all right.
First, you could actually break it down into thirds. First third of the season, they were playing their best. Second third of the season, they were playing good, but like not as good. And then the last third, terrible. Like they've been playing terrible. But
And is that not his fault though?
that's not his fault because the fitness levels before, when you show up with players like Enzo Fernandez, who looks like he probably he can't even keep up in a gym session with me.
I mean, you've never been in a gym session with Enzo Fernandez.
You seen that, brother?
The brother is
Brother
good.
looks like Ronald McDonald running around on the field.
The brother is good. He just needs some support in that team.
His diet consists of I'll have a junior chicken with 20 McNuggets, and then I'll have a Big Mac on the side, and don't forget the large fry.
Hey, that's what I order.
Varvar, honestly, I think I'm
And
gonna...
don't forget the McFlurry on the side.
Bro, you cannot forget the McFlurry on the side.
He just snapped at the character.
Extra Oreo topping on that McFlurry, please.
with
Thank
the
you very
caramel.
much.
Don't forget the caramel.
Can I get 2 apple pies with that, please? S'il vous plaît.
Enzo's
Merci
eating good.
beaucoup.
He's eating good, Enzo.
But in all seriousness, I do think Pochettino should stay at Chelsea at least one more season. I think he does have some sort of project going, and at the end of the day, the brother's got 35 different players that he has to manage. Like, this is unprecedented for a manager. So I do think he does need at least a summer to offload the guys that he doesn't want and try to manage the team that he has. He is, at the end of the day, he's a good manager. I don't know if he'll win you titles.
I disagree. I think He's not the exactly.
But I don't know if he'll win you titles.
Pochettino is never my cup of tea, but you have to put into context that Nkunku has been injured all season long. When I think in preseason they counted on him to be a crucial player. And then he has turned players into star players like Cole Palmer. But like he said, Chelsea's mostly just Cole Palmer United right now.
It is, but I am feeling I'm feeling a bit on the outside. I think Poch is not the right guy to lead Chelsea forward. He's been okay, but I just find, like, look at his PSG days. He had some exceptional players.
So which manager do you think could walk into that dressing room and they could go challenge for top 4 next season right away?
Not right away, but let me cook.
Next season under Poch, top 4, top 5 should be the expectation.
They need to strengthen a lot, but I want you guys to hear me out here.
Oh, that's when you know something insane is about to be said, when you say, hear me out on this one.
Portuguese coaches are on the come up. What about a little Ruben Amorim at Chelsea? Fits the quality of players. He knows how to get the best out of his players, like Marcus Edwards, baller. The guy knows how to manage a club.
But is Chelsea ready to take another risk?
Yeah.
With the manager, brother.
And
does the brother even speak English?
By the way, his release clause is 30 million.
And you don't think Chelsea is able to pay that?
No, because they actually have to restrict their spending this year. They actually have to sell players like Gallagher this summer because they spent too much money in the past windows.
Let them sell them and get a better coach.
But from what you're saying is basically they have to bring in a manager of that style or that caliber.
Yeah, you need a young manager with new ideas that fits this young core of players.
And there it is. These are our picks for your favorite clubs' managerial positions. And as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support means the world to us. Road to 100K on the way up. Boys, we'll see you next week.
And don't forget to leave your McDonald's orders down below.
We want to hear them. We're really interested in them.